Who would have guessed that taking up kitesurfing could lead to meeting your future wife and building a dream home for the family you share? For Sebastian, his love for the sport and the water in general has afforded him that and so much more, including an opportunity to live and grow amongst free-spirited cottage vibes and spectacular ocean views. But first, we'll visit Steve. Atop a saltwater lagoon boasting over a century's worth of local history, an undeveloped property reminiscent of childhood memories proves a natural source of intrigue for semi-retired hydrogeologist Steve. Today, he shares its rejuvenated land, home, and all the joys that come with it, including the bees, with friends of both the two-legged and four-legged varieties, a tradition he hopes will continue for generations. Water stirs the senses. The sight of a tranquil lake, the sound of an enlivened river, the smell and taste of a salty ocean breeze. Water is Mother Nature's most engaging opus. Where better to enjoy it than from a home on its edge?
I was looking for a retirement place, and I happened to be driving out here by Lawrencetown Beach, one of my childhood favorites. And so I was driving along and just saw a for sale sign by this peninsula on the water, undeveloped. It had been for sale for about 6 years, and I made an offer, and there you go. I live here with my friends Karen and Steve Murphy. I really enjoy having roommates in a place like this at a time like this in my life. It really is a lot of fun. This property is, to me, ideal, where we have a lagoon that protects us from the ocean, so we can see the ocean when she's angry and we can see her when she's calm and tranquil. Back in the day, in the 1700s, farmers would look for peninsulas like this where they could just put a fence along the top and save money going around the outside. So this property was actually a pasture for over 100 years. We have this wonderful picture from 1912, and it shows the pasture and some of the fence construction and buildings out by the berm that aren't there anymore. And around 1970, it was let go, and all the trees you see are now about 40, 50 years old. Nature here isn't subtle, it's a slap in the face. We've seen eagles snatching baby ducklings, we've seen dead seals wash up, we've seen a fox going by with a rabbit in its mouth, and we see live animals on a daily basis. So it really is omnipresent. When I showed up, it was a completely empty property. And I remember coming down and finding out where approximately the house would go. And there was a natural place to clear the front lawn and to put it all in. So it was fun walking around where there's absolutely nothing, envisioning a property and then seeing it realize. So the construction project took almost a year, but when it was finally finished, we got to the point where we're picking colors, and Karen was instrumental in picking these wonderful greens and yellows and reds. And then we filled the house with furniture, and it was really a wonderful process. So when I designed the house, I just wanted an open concept, one floor living with lots of deck space and big windows. I remember sitting with my designer one night in a bottle of wine, and after the night we were basically done. I had a few ideas. So as you can see from walking in the main room, we have the ocean on 3 sides of us, which makes for a beautiful scenery. One of our favorite features about the kitchen is the island and the backsplash. So we did the backsplash ourselves and most of the painting ourselves, but we did like the open concept where you can be sitting and looking out any window and be that close to nature. And the office, as you can see, are nice bright yellow colors. I wanted that to kind of pop out at you, put you in a nice, friendly, sunny mood. Even on gray, cloudy days, it really does help the atmosphere. And I didn't realize the importance of an office pre-COVID. But once COVID came, can you imagine a better place to work, looking out that window? So that's really a big feature that I'm glad I didn't scrimp on. So the bedroom is all windows and no need for curtains, given the privacy, and it's so wonderful to lay there with the windows open and we listen to the ocean and listen to the wind. So as you walk up the stairs, got a beautiful painting of the dogs. Kieran did that one. It was a paint by number with a picture sent away. And the red room is our guest room when we have people staying over. My favorite spot of the house is the upper deck. The view is breathtaking. It's just a beautiful place. And it's a great spot to have a coffee, and you can see probably 270 degrees from Fisherman's Reserve to Seaforth Beach. It really is a stunning spot. I can't imagine a nicer place for dogs to be living. It's great for them. They're free-range dogs. They tap on the door to go out and tap on the door to come in. My youngest female, Jessie, sleeps outside and she'll come in later on. But usually I am sandwiched in bed with one on either side of me. Those are big dogs. The heart of the home would be in the living room where we all sit and watch TV and have dinner and spend time together. The theme to the inside of the house is actually the outside with the windows and looking at nature. As I walk around, I'm always looking outside for animals and different things. So it's really bringing the outside inside. So we have this grass trail system over a kilometer. And because it was a cow pasture for so long, it was just a matter of weed whacking the bush and the trees, cutting them down, and there was a beautiful grass trail underneath. It was almost a trail system that was just waiting to be found, and we were the ones that found it. Really fortunate to have Steve. Steve's a great carpenter, and we built the bunkie that you'll see. We built the pool over during the COVID period. And once we had the pool, we needed a pool shed to store all the chemicals, but we obviously needed a place to have a cool drink as well. So we have a little shed, we call it Club Shed, sort of the Club Med, and it's got a place for drinks and some stools outside for sitting. The idea was that if it was ever raining, we could quickly go in and have a shelter for a quick drink. So when I was a young boy, I used to go to my grandmother's farm and she had an apple orchard. So I always wanted to have my own apple orchard. So I built just a 12-tree apple orchard. And I remember the first spring, there were all kinds of blossoms, but no insects. And that summer, there was hardly any apples. And my mother said, well, you should have bees in order to pollinate the apple orchard. So the next spring, I picked up 2 hives and we started beekeeping, Steve and I. And sure enough, the next spring, the apple blossoms were covered in bees and we had tons of apples that next summer. Our apiary, we call it Steve's Bees Apiary. We started with 2 hives that first summer, and that became 4, then 7, then 9, and currently we have 14 hives in our apiary after 6 years. Last fall, we had over 300 pounds of honey, and we use it to give to friends as presents and Christmas gifts, and we also sell a little bit on the side. I could spend an hour talking about bees and beekeeping. Not only do we have the honey, it's a place to go and just listen to the bees and whisper to the bees. It's a fun hobby. So my favorite place on the property is sitting on the bunkie deck and watching the birds or playing guitar, watching nature. Steve and I built the bunkie in 2019, and it's kind of like a cottage where during COVID times we would just sort of walk down and Karen and I play cards there a lot and listen to music and play guitar, and it's just a nice little oasis. We have a Murphy bed in it as well as an upper deck for sleeping. It holds, I think, 5 people with the coach as well. As a maritimer, I absolutely love the ocean. I lived out west for a little while, but there's something about the ocean when you come back and you really miss it. The smell, the sound, the feel. And this property, to me, it really is about a vacation for your senses. You've got the beauty of the ocean, you can smell the sea air, and you can also hear the sound of the ocean at night going to bed. And to me, it's great that I can share this with my 2 best friends, and we do a lot of things together, whether it's sitting watching birds or going for a stroll around the property, sitting on the bunkie or lounging by the pool, endless things to do. And to tell you the truth, during COVID, it wasn't bad. One of our favorite hobbies is beachcombing, going for a walk with the dogs and looking for things. We found some unique finds, some cool driftwood shapes. We found an aluminum buoy that was made in the 1940s from England. It washed up. My best find was a GoPro. So I was walking along the beach and there it was. So I picked it up and I brought it back and didn't have a charger, so I purchased a small charger for it. And when it was working, I was able to see what was on the GoPro. And it was a guy that was doing cliff jumping and freebase jumping off of buildings, off the McDonald Bridge, and also lots of surfing videos. In the last video on it, he had it on the bottom of his surfboard, and you can see him surfing and then down in the water. And I put an advertisement on the Nova Scotia Surfing Facebook site, and sure enough, this guy from Quebec contacted me, and it was his Surf Pro, and he was worried about losing all that footage. So it was a great little story. And we have a wonderful front lawn. We do a lot of activities there. We play bocce ball, we kite fly when the wind is the right direction, and just playing with the dogs. Walking the dogs is a special time. I walk every morning and every evening. It really does make my day. Living by the water greatly enhances my lifestyle. I have a fairly busy career and a busy life, as do Steve and Karen. And this is the tranquility that just slows it all down and recharges those batteries. It really is a nice spot. To me, it's really coming full circle to be coming to a place where I used to go as a child, and now this is my home where I'll retire and probably spend the rest of my days. I had a few health scares maybe 6 or 7 years ago. When you have a scare like that, it really makes you appreciate nature and appreciate the real beauty in life, moment by moment. When I was in the hospital, this was my go-to place to remember and walking through the trails with the dogs and hanging out, so that's important. When I built the house, I knew it wasn't just for me. I knew that I was the person building the house and developing the property. I know this house will be here 200 and 300 years from now, and there'll be 20, 30 different families. So when I designed it and built it, it was with that mindset that I want to have a place that just stands out and its beauty is there for not only me, but for future generations. I think living by the ocean is something that's in your blood. I don't like to be too far from the ocean, and it really does control my life. I have a tide watch that I wear. I have a tide clock on the wall. I like to know when it's rising and falling, and just sort of sets my pace. To me, home is that place where you rest and relax and recharge, and you slow the pace down a little bit and appreciate the nature and the moments and the surroundings around you.
I'm an airborne sensor operator, and I was posted in Shearwater from New Brunswick. So I moved here. With time, I started being interested in surfing, but fell in love instead with kite surfing, which brought me here quite often. I met my wife on Conrad's Beach, actually, while I was kite surfing 7 years ago. I walked up to her and started a conversation, and here we are with 2 little kids and living in this beautiful place. Louis, the oldest, he's 3 years old. And then the youngest is 1 year old, and his name is Lucas. I discovered this property while I was coming back from a kite surf session on Conrad's Beach. While I was driving up the road, I saw a little for sale sign in the ditch. And as you can see, the driveway is pretty long, so I had to walk and kind of bushwhack my way to where the view was. And when I seen the property's view and potential, I jumped right on it. Water's always been a part of my life. Coming from a little town called Bouctouche, New Brunswick. So I grew up water skiing and clam digging and fishing. We live right on the bay. So it was very natural to come here and buy this property because it fulfilled the same thing that I grew up with. The challenge that I ran to building this place was finding the money. I tried to go through like a contractor, but it was just too costly. So what I did, I subcontracted the whole property myself. Once it was weather tight with the subcontracting, I could really focus on the inside myself. So it was big learning curves as I had to like learn on how to do a lot of the finish trades, but just with YouTube and with the help of neighbors and my parents, we were able to make it work. The room that I like the most in this property is the living room because it has the most amount of windows where anywhere you're standing, you can just see outside and you can see what's going on, like the weather. And especially I can see Conrad's Beach, and I know when the wind is good and I know when I can go kiting. People that comes visit this property mostly enjoy the view. They do also really like how unique and homey and cozy it looks. The most unique interior finishes in this property, I think it's the trimming around the windows. There was a mill, it was nice enough to give me all their leftover pine, and I had to plane them myself and stain them, cut them. So to me, that's the most unique part. And as you can see, it's all like a darker color, so it gives a really nice, unique feel in the house. My favorite view inside this house is definitely from the master bedroom that's just upstairs. It has a big patio door and it has a little balcony where you can just go outside and take a quick peek, and it has a very panoramic view, and it's really lovely up there. I find this place has a very cottagey feeling. It turned into a family home with time, but initially it was to look and have like a bohemian look, have a cottagey feel, and make it look and feel really warm. A memorable part when we were building this property is when I needed the property to be painted for an inspection. I was running short on time, so I actually called all my friends and we had a paint party where I just bought a lot of pizza and some beers, gave a paintbrush to all of my friends, and we painted the whole property in one night. Every time I drive down my driveway and I see my property in its view, it certainly gives me a sense of reward. First, for the risk of buying the property when it was just land, and then to go ahead and build myself was pretty tough. So I definitely have a sense of reward every time I come down the driveway. The feature that struck me the most after building the property was definitely the color contrast. I couldn't be more happier having a very dark purple siding and picking a gray metallic roof. It gives it a really unique look. We went with a metal roof on this property because all the neighbors warned us about how severe the storms can be around this area. So we went with a metal roof so it could withstand the storms better. There's been many exterior renovations done to this property since we're done building. The first one was the front of the house. It was just a deck before. I closed that off for a mudroom because we have 2 kids now and they seem to always have dirty boots, and we also have a dog that tends to be always dirty also. So it's nice to have a mudroom where we can put the boots and all the jackets and stuff. So that was renovated last year. And also we have the sheds that we built for just extra room for all the toys. I built 3 sheds on this property because I couldn't afford a garage, and I had a lot of extra material after building this property. So I just repurposed it and built sheds, especially during COVID time where I had a lot of time on my hand. The wildlife that we see on this property are mostly deers and pheasants. There's also a trail system at the end of Conrad's Beach boardwalk. You just gotta take a quick left, and then you're gonna walk on the sand dunes for about half kilometer. And then you get inside a little bit of a spruce forest, and someone's been maintaining that trail for quite a while, and it looks like a dome once you're inside the trail. And it's great for running or taking the kids or taking the dog for a walk. It's just a beautiful trail. I started kite surfing around 10 years ago. I wanted to surf, but because of some lower back injury, I was really restricted on surfing. But I remember seeing a guy from Ecuador that was kite surfing Conrad's Beach, and he was all by himself, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I went and spoke to him, and he decided he would take me under his wing, and every time he would go to the beach, he would show me a little bit. So Slowly, I learned kite surfing here at Clerisy Beach, and it's a really big part of my life. It gives me a good balance between work and I guess my hippie side of life, and that's where it all started. When I'm kite surfing by myself on Clerisy Beach, it's just the feeling of freedom. Just being out in the ocean, it's very unique. It really brings me a lot of joy, especially if there's big waves out there. It gives me that sensation of surfing that I always wanted. It's just amazing. It's just the best sport that I ever did. My spouse does not have any water activity. She's from a farm agriculture area in Ireland, so she doesn't like deep water, but she likes to watch. Every now and then we'll put the kids in the bicycle and we'll go straight to the beach, and then we'll let them play with their toys, and especially the oldest one, Louis, he loves to chase the waves, so he'll go as close as he can from the whitewash, and as the whitewash gets closer, and usually the water's cold, he'll run away. So that's his little thing, and obviously they sleep pretty good afterwards, so it's a win-win for mommy and daddy. On our property, we like to keep ourselves busy with landscaping, just doing chores around the house, just enjoying the view really, and just enjoying the moment. Obviously our time now is pretty busy with the kids, but when we can spare a little bit of time, usually we tend to do a little bit of landscaping. Living by the water enhanced my lifestyle by being closer to my passion of kite surfing. I'm more capable of going kiting when it's just in your backyard, especially with kids and having a job. I don't have a whole lot of time on my hands, so it's nice that I can do my hobby right here. My plans for renovating this place in the future, it will probably be after the kids grow up. They seem to destroy the house little by little. Once they start being a little older, we'll probably redecorate the inside, maybe add a few lights and some small things. The concept of home to me is having a place where you can do the things you love, and also to have a place where we can decompress and just put our feet up and just enjoy the moment and enjoy property. As for our little fur friends, we have a cat. His name is Cookie. We have a dog. Her name is Winnie. Well, we do call her Winnie Wiggles because she's extremely friendly and likes to wag her tail. We also have a chicken coop where we have 5 chickens, so we do get fresh eggs. We planted some maple trees in the front of the yard, so especially during the fall, we get a little bit more color. Those maple trees are sugar maples, and they'll turn red during the fall. And it's just to give more colors because the shore is often more of your evergreens, so this was just to give it a little bit more diversity. I think people are attracted to live on the water, primarily probably for the view, but also for the ocean breeze, and also be able to just go take a walk on the beach. Those are what makes it really special living here.
Whether nestled alongside a riverbank or perched high above a distressed ocean, living on the shore has its perks. But beautiful views are only the beginning. The sights, sounds, and sensations of the water are constant in their impact, improving moods, perspectives, and lives. To exist and grow on its edge is extraordinary, an experience made even sweeter when shared with the people we love.
You've been saying it for so long. Let the water lead.